Yes, we can now speak to the Home Secretary. Shabana Mahmood joins me now from Salford. A very good morning to you. Thanks so much for talking to us today. A really terrible day for Manchester yesterday with this deadly attack on a synagogue. What's your reaction to what happened, and what's your message to the community there and Jewish people across the country this morning?
Well, this has been an absolutely devastating and horrifying anti-Semitic terrorist attack on our Jewish community here in Manchester. My thoughts are very much with all of the victims and the families of those who have been murdered. I want to pay tribute to the members of the community who were worshipping at the synagogue yesterday, who prevented the attacker from actually entering the synagogue. Their action yesterday, putting themselves at risk, undoubtedly saved lives. And I also want to thank the police because they reacted very quickly and brought this horrifying incident to a very quick end. It was only 7 minutes between receiving the call and the attacker being shot dead. So my thoughts are very much with the community here and across the country. The government is stepping up policing resource and policing response around synagogues and other places that the other institutional places that the Jewish community use. We want to make sure that our community here in the UK do not feel like they have to lead a smaller Jewish life in order to be safe. We want them to feel confident going about their business, but we just recognise that the community is feeling absolutely devastated. That's something that we are all feeling. Our Jewish community is very much part of the rest of us, and an attack on them is very much an attack on all of us.
I wonder if you can update us on the investigation. Police have named the attacker as Jihad al-Shami. They say that his records show he was not referred to the government's counter-terrorism scheme, PREVENT. Can you confirm that? And what else can you tell us about him?
Yes, I can confirm that the attacker was not known to counter-terror police, and there had not been a referral to PREVENT in his history. He is a British national, was a British national of Syrian descent. He came to this country as a small child, was naturalised as a British citizen when he was still a minor in the mid-2000s. And that is what we know so far. That is the information I can share. As the investigation continues, we will be able to give more information to the public. For now, that is what we know of the attacker. There are also 3 other people who have been arrested by the police, and it's very important that their work is allowed to continue. They're working at pace. I'm in constant contact with the Chief Constable and Counter-Terror Police here in Manchester, and we must allow the due process of the justice system to take its course.
Are you concerned about any other attacks? Is there anything to suggest that more is being planned?
Well, we are absolutely on high alert. That is why there has been an increase in police resource, not just here in Manchester, but across the country. In terms of the terror threat level, that is monitored in the usual way by the Joint Terrorism Analysis Centre. They are the ones who make an independent assessment of the threat levels facing the country. They haven't changed those threat levels after what has happened yesterday, but they do keep these matters under constant review, and that is an independent process. So we will take our lead from the experts that do that analysis for us in the government and for the country as a whole. We as a government want to make sure that people feel safe going about their business today. So people will see an increased police presence, particularly around synagogues and other places of interest for the Jewish community. And we will keep a close eye on all developments over the course of the next day or so.
The UK's Chief Rabbi, Ephraim Mervis, has said it was the day we hoped we would never see, but which deep down we knew would come. There has been deep concern within the Jewish community about a threat to them. Could more have been done to protect them?
Look, the words of the Chief Rabbi are words I've been hearing from my own friends in the Jewish community and also from members of the community here in Manchester. Desperate worry, a sense of devastation, but also the sadness of feeling that this was inevitable. We do not want anyone in our country to feel that they are unsafe and cannot go about their business, and we will do everything we can to make sure our Jewish community feels safe. I think we have seen a rising tide of anti-Semitism in this country, and this government will not stand for that. I condemn all acts of anti-Semitism utterly. And when people break the laws of our land, when they incite racial hatred, when they incite violence, we will make sure that they feel the full force of the law.
Well, yes, and the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, has said she's concerned about what she calls the climate of fear and aggression that's been created around Jewish people in Britain. She has said that some of the language around the war in Gaza, she cites the phrase, for example, a global intifada, are significant in contributing to an atmosphere of significant hostility to Jewish people. Do you agree with her there?
Well, look, firstly, we won't stand for any hostility towards our Jewish community based on what is happening in the Middle East. Undoubtedly, there is great concern about events in the Middle East, but our priority is making sure that our citizens here at home are safe and can go about their business and lead, lives that flourish within the Jewish community and beyond as well. I think that it is important that we hold the line between legitimate, if difficult sometimes, protest, but protest that breaks the law of our land. We have very clear laws around incitement to racial hatred. There were some protests last night. The police have made, I think, something like 40 arrests, some of those for assaulting police officers as well. Just want to make sure that everybody in the country is clear. We have strong laws in this country. They will be enforced, and any behaviour that steps outside of that line and crosses into racial hatred will not be tolerated.
Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has been very critical of the government. He has said that you failed to take the necessary action to curb what he's called this toxic wave of anti-Semitism and have effectively allowed it to persist. He said, we expect more than words from the Starmer government. We expect and demand a change of course, effective action and enforcement against the rampant anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli incitement in Britain. What would you say to that?
Well, look, we already provide funding to the Community Security Trust, which is designed to keep Jewish people in our country safe so they can go about their business, they can worship at synagogues and go to their other communal institutions without fear. We will obviously as the police respond to the incident itself, we will want to take a moment to consider all of those security arrangements. That's why we've ramped up the policing resources, because we're very alive to the concerns of the community and we don't want people to feel like they can't go about their business. And we also provide funding for work in educational institutions, which is designed to combat anti-Semitism. But of course, after this attack, we will want to look at all of the arrangements that we have in this country to make sure we're doing everything we can to tackle rising anti-Semitism. As I said already, we do have strong laws in this country, and I'm very clear that the police, our prosecution services and our wider criminal justice system must make sure that when the law of our land is broken, those individuals do feel the full force of the law.
We saw pro-Palestinian marches going ahead last night after the attack in a number of cities across the UK. Are you comfortable with that?
I was very disappointed to see those protests go ahead last night. I think that behaviour is fundamentally un-British. I think it's dishonourable. I would have wanted those individuals to just take a step back. The issues that are driving those protests have been going on now for some time. They don't look like they're going to come to an end any day soon. They could have stepped back and just given a community that has suffered deep loss just a day or two to process what has happened and to, carry on with the grieving process. I think some humanity could have been shown. I am disappointed that humanity and solidarity wasn't shown to our Jewish community, and I have made sure that the police have all of the resources they need to ensure that they are able to police these protests. As we spoke about earlier, something like 40 arrests were made last night, and we will make sure that any protests that go ahead comply with the law, and where someone steps outside of the law of our land, they will be arrested. And to anybody who is thinking about going on a protest, what I would say is, imagine if that was you that has had a family member murdered on the holiest day in your faith. Imagine how you would feel, and then just step back for a minute, give people a chance to grieve. We can get back to our protest later. Just because you have a freedom doesn't mean you have to use it.